Hello, and welcome to Dardingli's Interviews, a space created by professionals for professionals of the real estate industry. Interviews will be available on Spotify and YouTube on the 1st and 15th of every month. Tune in to stay updated with the latest in real estate trends.
Hello, and welcome to Dardingli's Interviews. I am Jorge del Prado, and today we have with us Mike Clews. Good morning, Mr. Clews. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Jorge. I'm going to keep it on first name basis. I'm Mike.
Okay.
Thank you for the opportunity of this interview.
Thank you for being with us. Mike is a distinguished property consultant and branch manager at Century21 Zenith Realty with 10 years of real estate experience. As a person with the experience in real estate with such long background, you have seen how the market has behaved, how the trends have changed throughout the year. And now that we live during the times of Covid19, which is a humanitarian challenge that has and have lasting effect on how people live, how people work, how people do everything, real estate has also changed. So my first question for you will be, what were the biggest market trends before COVID-19?
Well, before COVID-19, as you said, market changes. I believe that change is not the correct word. I think it's more of an evolution. Mm-hmm. Change could be addressed as negative. Mm-hmm. So let's say the market is evolving. With the market evolving, you've got to be able to evolve yourself, being on the ball and always striking out the niches that can be created. With that, having said that, obviously COVID-19 has impacted the market. It has become more challenging. Market trends, I would say up to 2019, 2018, it was a seller's market. Mm-hmm. People, contractors, house owners, property that bought buy to let were sitting on big bags of money, you could say, because anything could sell. Anything could sell. There was a high demand, and that also came from the fact that on an investment basis, having money tied up in property was better than having money, for example, tied up, more secure than having money tied up in cryptocurrency, shares, stocks, or money in the bank. So it was people that were investing, and I would say that the market was a seller's market up to 2019. Mm-hmm.
So what impact would you say COVID-19 had on the rental market, on the selling market?
On the rental market, I would say that there were, I wouldn't say an exodus, but we know of a lot of expatriates that were working in Malta in particular companies that due to the pandemic have returned to their home nation. Mm-hmm, yes. And obviously that has left some properties which were uninhabited, so vacant properties. Mm-hmm. Basically, there has been some price reductions, and there has been people that have kept their market share and kept the company, kept the rentals going in the same rate that they were pre-19, pre-COVID. Mm-hmm. So I would say it's a good mix, but there has been some movements. There's, for example, people that were renting a 3-bedroom apartment, and it was being rented between 3 expatriates, 3 individuals, for example. If 2 of them left, now the guy has ended up with one huge apartment just for himself or herself, and obviously the expense was going to be too high. So there was a trend in people that were downsizing, but not downsizing for economical purposes. It was downsizing because of necessity. Mm-hmm. Downsizing because of the fact that they had 2 roommates who suddenly have returned, have disappeared. So obviously having to spend 1,500 euros instead of 500 euros a month has made an impact on their salary that we're paying. So they've either brought in more people or reduced their own apartment.
Right, like you have spoken about that exodus, that downsizing, but has that reflected on the prices of properties?
Well, are we speaking about rentals or sales?
Rentals in this case.
On this case, rentals, I would say that maybe being before a seller's market, prices could have been inflated slightly due to high demand. Obviously, like in every market, price is governed by supply and demand. Now, if, for example, 4-bedroom apartments are in high demand at the moment because they are being split up between 4 people, prices have remained the same. But if 2-bedroom apartments are going to be used by a single family or a single person, an individual, and he's got extra room, he's going to go, for example, for a 1-bedroom or go for a 3-bedroom, which is going to be shared. So to a certain extent, prices have decreased but increased at the same time. So there's a fine plateau that we are living in at the moment.
So you say that not all properties have suffered the same. So which properties? Which properties would you say have?
The properties that have suffered most, I believe, are the properties that were overpriced before the pandemic. And being overpriced before the pandemic, with the high demand there were, people knew that they were paying more than what it's worth, but they were happy to do so. Now people are being more careful.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say that prices have gone down. I would say that prices are realistic today.
And about, we spoke about the renting, but what about the selling? The selling of properties.
Sale of properties. If you go for the very high end, those properties will never change, because the people that afford those properties had money pre-COVID, and will have money post-COVID. So we're talking about old money. We're talking about families with certain businesses or money to their name. So that wasn't really affected, in my opinion. Matter of fact, the sales that we had during the pandemic for the high-end properties have not reduced. The middle sector, I would say, for example, the second-time buyers are being more careful. You know, for example, second-time buyers, I would say the 40 to 50-year-olds, they are slightly more cautious for the fact that they've got children to feed, they've got schools to pay, expenses which the household, for example, has taken is not their priority at the moment. They are prepared to sacrifice and remain in the house that they're living, being small or whatever it is. And I would say that with the incentives that were given by the government in the last 2 budgets, the tax benefits that they have given for first-time buyers, I would say that the first-time buyer market, a segment has been created for them, where property is built to price. It is not built. Let's give an example of Dell computers. Dell computers will set a price and build a computer that fits into that price. I think the segment at the moment, what this has created, the new tax benefits that have been created, is that the price is set and the construction is being built towards that price. So I wouldn't say that there's been a drop or a fall in the price section. As you know, Malta is a small island in the middle of the Mediterranean, where land is a hot priority. It's a very hot property, and that means that you know, there's always going to be more demand than supply. It is just basically due to the demographics of our country.
I understand. So we spoke about housing and prices of renting a house, selling a house, but we also saw with COVID how people started working at home because COVID, the COVID reality has forced us to get back home, work away from our office. So do you think commercial rentals as office spaces have been affected in price or in sale or in...
Office spaces, I don't believe have been affected in price. They've been affected more than anything in, I would say, style, more than price. They're building them cheaper to rent them cheaper.
Oh.
You know, like before the trend, say in the 90s and the 2000s, was that offices were pretty colonial, I would say, you know, where everyone had his office, everyone had his desk that was segregated, and the pictures of family on the wall and things like that. Today, no. Today, it's more the open plan, the easy, the casual style, where there's an area where you just sit down and chill with co-workers. There's the cafeteria over there. There's the smoking area at the back. You know, it's just it's evolved. You know, they don't have to go for the heavy wood. You know, it's just let it flow.
Yes.
More mainstream. So, well, if you statistically, I would say that yes, there is the case where, for example, property is being rented for cheaper per square meter, but theoretically or profit-wise, I would say that the profit margins remain the same.
So we spoke about how the market has maybe adapted, not changed. Yes, so speaking about adaptation, which measures have taken Century21 in order to adapt to the current circumstances?
So, as you correctly said before, we are trying our best to keep social distancing. So, for example, I've got 9 desks over here at the office which are empty. And it is myself and the GM who are in an office practically to ourselves. And if one of the agent needs to use the office for a meeting or something of the sort, certain parameters are taken to make sure that we keep safe. We have relied a lot on technology for this as well, where we are using total mobile system where we have access to our database, all information on our database on our phones, or on our laptops from home. Obviously, we help out with correct training on that one, and that has given the agents more freedom on viewings and not having to come to the office every day. Another measure that we have taken as well is that, as we are all aware, you cannot be more than 2 households in a property at once. So that has practically cut us at the knees. So, for example, we rely a lot on video chat, where an agent will walk around the house or the property that she is or he is viewing, and the clients will be on the phone. Obviously, it is not tangible, you know, you can't, it's not as easy as being the face-to-face and the tap on the shoulder and saying, you know, and over here we can have that, and visualize it ready, and close your eyes, open them and live the dream, you know. But there again, as you said, with for every problem there's a solution.
And technology has been part of that solution, as I see.
Yes, technology has been part of that solution, and as well we're in the process of implementing, we're in discussions at the moment for implementation on some advantages that we can offer our clients.
So we spoke about the clients, we spoke about the changing in for sellers, but if we were now with a property and we were considering to sell the property, should we either wait for COVID-19 to pass completely, or is it a good opportunity now to sell?
It's always a good opportunity to sell. Listing a property on a known franchise is always good. As you know, Century21 is a franchise celebrating 50 years of half a century of activity, and that means that our database is not only Maltese. So our client base is not only Maltese. So listing a property for sale during COVID could take longer to sell. You know, it's not theoretically. It's actually from the studies that we have done. It can take you up to 20% more time to sell your property. However, it is not a situation where we are stagnant and we have stopped.
So the market is still moving on.
The market is still moving. Might at the moment, obviously due to COVID and other factors which are affecting the market, and due to some political rumors of early elections and things like that, you know, people tend to hold back just that little bit tighter.
So do you believe that, for example, is it still wise for investors to go for buy-to-lets?
Yes. Well, put it this way: when you consider, as maybe I've explained before, I have worn various hats in my life, and real estate is just one of them. When you are considering investing, be it art, stocks, crypto, shares, the risk factor is always higher than what we call a Maltese il-jebla, which is the stone, the actual property. You know, property is known, you know, for a fact to appreciate every year in value. And the appreciation that you get on property is always going to be beneficial for you. So even having the money to invest, instead of leaving them, for example, in a financial institution and not being guaranteed anything, even if the property is empty and not being rented, you are still making money on it, because in 2022, that property is going to be more expensive than you bought it in 2021.
Of course.
You know, so even on that alone, it's a good idea to invest in property. However, renting it will be the cherry on the cake.
Of course. So we spoke that it's good to invest. It's still good to invest, and it will be still good to invest. But COVID has still changed a lot of the things we do. So did buyers' preferences change it due to the pandemic?
Yes. For example, at the moment, there's a lot of restaurants which are worried because people that did not adapt and start doing the home deliveries are obviously suffering. You know. However, having said that, every pasticci place in Malta has record sales month after month. You know what I mean? So I am not saying that everybody should change his gourmet restaurant into a pasticci place. You know, I can't imagine Salamanca changing his restaurant into a pasticci place, you know, or a place where you only go for tapas. But when we're in this situation, as we said, we need to evolve and adapt to the situation. So yes, there could be a possibility where, for example, certain segments of the market are suffering more than others. And obviously that always relates to bottom line. However, the owners of the property are still going to be getting their appreciation. Year after year. For example, if a property was bought for, just to give a figure, 10 euros, next year it could be worth 11.5 euros.
Yes.
Or maybe 11 euros on a bad year. You know what I mean? So that is mainly it. My advice is always to invest in something solid, and something solid is property.
So, inside of that property, what buyers are looking for? What is that now buyers are seeking?
So obviously, buyers are seeking bargains, but it's a culture thing as well. If something has a discount on it or special offer, buy one get one free, there's a line of people outside a supermarket, just not to advertise any supermarkets. But the moment they advertise that there's a gas barbecue at 35 euros, there were people fighting in the street for it because it's a bargain. So yes, if there's a bargain, it's going to sell immediately, be it property, be it a phone, be it a cup of coffee. So what are people going for? The people that are, for example, people still need to buy. The purchase of property is not a want, but it's a need. People are still getting married. First-time buyers still need properties. There is a number of separations and divorces as well, where houses are being sold to buy two separate smaller houses. These are things which are being done. That hasn't changed the demographic. It hasn't changed the attitude, and it's going to be very hard to change that. We've got a lot of young couples which have approached us, which are getting married. We are introducing some special rates and gifts for these young couples as well as a company to celebrate as well our 50 years in operation worldwide. And it's something small, but it's a segment of the market that we are emphasizing a lot on.
An important segment of the market.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Mike, we have spoke about several topics. We have spoke about agencies. We have spoke about COVID, its impact on investors. And now, before we wrap it up, I'm gonna try to take advantage of your long experience in the past to predict a little bit the future. So, what would you say that right now for the future? What does the agency need to adapt for the future right now?
Well, we still fit into our 5-year plan. We're still on target with certain market segments. So we believe that what we are doing so far is helping, and it's keeping us afloat. What do we need to do for the evolution of the market? As a company, for the evolution of the market, we need to adapt to, obviously, the local trends. Now, adaptability, flexibility, and streamlining. Our agents are being trained. They're focused. They're very knowledgeable about the products they're selling, and very knowledgeable about tax benefits and everything else that needs to be known to help our customers. What we are doing is, I'm going to be vulgar about this, but trimming out the fat. Making it smaller but more focused.
Yeah, more efficient.
More efficient.
And last but not least, and this is a question that it is the golden question, maybe. What are your predictions for the next 18 months in the real estate market?
I believe that for the next 6 months, we will keep this plateau. I'm not seeing a dip in the market or the proverbial bubble that's going to burst that I've been hearing since 1989. And apparently this bubble has never burst yet. What people don't understand is, as I said before, the supply and demand of it. So I believe that the plateau is going to stay as is, going through the market analysis as we have been doing for the past years. We look at the next 6 months, I would say at least up to September, where the market will plateau. And then from there on, we're looking at a gradual but quite a steep increase, going back to the good old days, in other words.
The good old days. Let's hope that is true. And Mike, it has been a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you for joining Dardingli's interviews and for your time. And looking forward to work with you in the coming years. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much to you and all your team. Thank you for all the support that you have been giving us and your faith in Century21.
Thank you very much and have a nice day.
Hasta luego.
Hello.
Are you enjoying Dardingli's interviews? If you have any suggestions, questions, or requests, you can contact us through our social media or at dardingli.com. Dardingli, the biggest Maltese property platform for owners and agencies. See you at the next program. Hello, and welcome to Dardingli's interviews.